Call to order the Lake Mills City Council for October 2nd, 2018. Would you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Roll call when you have a moment.
Mr. Fields.
Here.
Mrs. Fritsch.
Here.
Mr. Foster.
Here.
Mr. Fritsch.
Here.
Ms. Schmidt.
Here. Okay. Should we do the council minutes separate from the work session, or can we do them together?
We should be able to do them together. Everybody was.
At both?
Yes.
Yes.
Except
Okay.
me.
Well,
Yes. Yeah, but you were gone from both.
Right.
So you were at least uniform.
Yeah.
You didn't just come and go, you know. All right. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any corrections, changes? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Fritsch.
Aye. Here. Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch.
Oh,
You confuse me. Aye.
Ms. Schmidt.
Abstain.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
gee, they changed the alphabet on me and it completely fiddled. So, okay. Anybody want to make some comments on correspondence under number 4? None there? Okay, well, I do have a couple things. As you might note, I have my Cars for Coffee t-shirt on because this Sunday is the last Cars for Coffee on Sunday morning. And if you've not been there, it's a fun thing to go to, and it's early in the morning on Sunday. I think it ends at 11, I believe. So don't oversleep if you want to go. And then the Fall Festival is this Sunday. The Chamber of Commerce has in the Commons Park. And I forgot, I was looking for the time, but I think it's like 10 to 4 or something like that. But it's a real nice, now, you're all going to pray for good weather. I know there's possible rain on Sunday, so we have to work on the weather. But the Fall Festival is a very nice event. Families, they have something for the children, and they have a lot of fun things to see and eat and do. So this Sunday is a big day in Lake Mills. Anybody else have anything about going? Oh, I do have something else. There will be a city chat on Friday, October 19th. We're going to move it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon instead of the 8:30 because we've had requests to have it in the later part of the day from people in town. So what we're thinking about, and you can tell us what you think if you come on Friday the 19th of October. It'll be in the library upstairs in the meeting room. And we're thinking about alternating it, 8:30 one time and 4 o'clock the next time. That way we'll be hitting different people at different times. But if you have some other comments, just also want to remind everybody that we're here the first and third Tuesday of almost every month. Once in a while our meetings get canceled for different reasons, but you can always come on a Tuesday night under the questions and public comment, and you can come and if it's something that's not on the agenda, you need to mention it to Misty before the meeting, if you want to bring it up, according to our thing. So if you do want to come later in the evening, if you'll know that we're here, just like we are tonight. And it is your city council and your city, so don't be hesitant to come and talk to us and tell us what you need or what you like or what you don't like, whatever. Okay, anybody else have something to add to the correspondence? Seeing none, I'll get my little card out here. Okay, we're moving on to item 5, questions and public comment. The public is encouraged to address the council at this time regarding items on the agenda. Public comment may also be made at this time on items that are not on the agenda if you have registered with the city clerk before the meeting has been called to order. The state's open meeting law discourages action by the council on items not listed on the agenda. Please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes and state your name and address when starting your comments. And be sure to fill out the sign-in sheet on the podium when you do that. So, we have a light attendance on public hearing. I don't believe you didn't want to speak in public hearing, and so it doesn't look like anybody's going to take us up on our offer. Okay, so but we thank everybody who's out in the public listening to this recording, either right now or later in a broadcast. We'd like to also thank Dave Grumman, who is our recorder for our broadcasts, who is conscientiously here and does that for us behind the scenes. So, with no other people to talk, I'll close number 5, questions and public comment. City Manager's Report. Steve.
I provided you with a copy of the letter that told us we didn't get a grant for the sidewalks on Tyne Park Road. Provided you with a reminder that the League of Wisconsin Municipality dues need to be budgeted if you want to be a league member. And we held TID number 7 Joint Review Board meeting tonight, and 4-1 vote, they approved TID number 7, so that'll all be filed here shortly. The library is receiving bids for the lighting, and that's under review now. They've actually received bids, and they're going to be reviewing those bids and making a recommendation on awarding the contract. South Main Street is pretty much done. Gas company's starting to wind up. Peeper's done. The subcontractor for connecting the houses from the new underground line has probably still got some to go, but it's winding up. The bids will be October 16th. That's when the bids go online for South Main Street, with an opening in around November 16th. We actually have after the bid goes out, there's a contractors meeting to review the bids for any questions. We'll be attending that meeting. I think it's the 17th at 2 o'clock in Madison.
What was the date that the bids are opened?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's something like November 16th.
Okay, like about a month.
Yeah, it's 30 days between.
Oh, okay.
So
And we hope that we get some good bids.
Yes.
Yes, please, please, please.
Mulberry Street, the underground is done, but the overhead is done, but the underground is still going on, and probably will for about another month. That contract will go out in December, and the bid opening is in early January, like January 8th.
So we're not doing them together. I thought we were.
No,
South
no,
Main.
we were always going to do them slightly separate, but as early as possible.
Oh,
So, street maintenance contracts, well, we got at least a layer of asphalt on every street. Some of them are going to need to be cut out and have some soft spots removed, but at least they're protected from the rain now. And you got the email about the timeline, the potential timeline for getting it fixed, but as noted, it's supposed to rain every day, so I'm not going to hold my breath. We're going to try and wind up the bike trail down on the south side by St. Paul's. Here in the next probably 2 weeks from now, we'll start finishing that up. The Mangan development is pretty much done from our perspective. The power went on today. Crestview plat is on the agenda tonight for another reduction in the bond. North Shore Development, which is that condo unit off of County Highway B up on the north side of the lake, is in progress. So we've had engineers out there observing the sanitary sewer construction. A couple projects this year that are probably going to have to slide over till next year. Some of the street construction projects, some small ones, like Brook Street, and the parking lot for the library. We're not going to get to them this year because of the weather. The lead service laterals, we just got done providing our monthly report on the 30th. And if you take out the 1960 water mains, we're at 87%, and if you leave them in, we're at 69%. So looks like before they get back to us with any comments, we'll be close enough to done that won't matter. The radium testing, there were some issues, and we've made some proposals on doing some work in the well in order to try and relieve that. So we have a new proposal on the radium going into the DNR probably this week. Cross connections, want to remind everybody that they are responsible for getting those cross connections done. We're under an order from the DNR to get those done, so you can't ignore them. We'll be coming. At some point, you're going to have your cross connection inspections done. Corrosion control, we met with the DNR last week, had a pretty good meeting. They have accepted our proposal, and so we'll be moving forward with that study. The water rate is still before the PSC board. We haven't heard anything, but I imagine a public hearing will be coming up in the next week or two. We have had meetings with Summit about them being our medical director, and we're probably going to move forward with that. We are trying to sort out a couple things. WPPA union negotiations start Thursday. Health insurance is up and running. We met with EBS, which is Employee Benefits Service, and they provide our HSA and our COBRA services. They can also provide the flex plan, but we haven't done that. Everything on the Rock Lake loan is in place except for signatures. And other than that, I think we're good. Any other questions?
On the cross connections, are you referring to residential properties too?
No, residential properties aren't under the inspection requirement. It's all commercial, industrial.
Okay.
But residential commercial does include multifamily. So if you have an apartment building, yes, that even though you might consider that residential, it's considered commercial by definition, and so yes, you would have to do a cross-connection inspection, and that has to be done by a licensed plumber, and he can use the state form or provide a letter with his license number, either one, but it needs to be done. And I think we've been out now well over 6 months, and I think we've got 25%, so that's not too good. Hopefully by December 1st, we'll be up into the high 70s. So.
I couldn't answer a question that one of my constituents asked in the Mangan plan. He's not currently building the one-family housing, but there is some single-family housing in that, isn't there?
There are 42 units.
Single?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. And that's not in this part of what he's doing?
He does not do that.
Oh.
He just does multifamily. He subdivided it with the single family on it. What he's going to do, as soon as his buildings are built, he's going to sell it to a single family developer.
Ah, okay. Good. I didn't remember what was going on with that. So, okay, so,
We tried to encourage him to do both developments at one time because he ran the water and sewer to handle all of it.
okay,
And that one street, he's virtually built the significant part of that one street that runs through the single family area. But he did not want single family built up against his multifamily until it was done and everybody knew what they were getting into.
oh, that's pretty smart too, probably.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get people who are angry because they didn't know what they were, yeah, I see that. Okay, well, thanks for giving me the answer to my question. And he's looking at that first unit opening before the end of the year, isn't he?
Yes.
If everything goes well?
I think he's planning on having more than one unit open before the end of the year.
Okay,
But yes, at least one.
okay.
They have electric now. They're up and it's basically getting them sided out and the inside's done and they're moving along pretty quick.
Okay, great. Anybody else have questions for Steve?
Yeah, with the weather that we've been having and the flood warnings we've been having, is there any problems here for Lake Wells?
It depends on how your basement's structured. So if you live on certain streets where there's a high water table, you're likely to see water in your basement, a lot of your sump pumping.
Where do we have that?
Grant Street is probably the prime one that I know of. But there are a couple other places in the city that have that. Reed Street up on the north end. Some in Brookstone just off the shelf. They would see a lot of water. We've had 3 that I know of that experience significant problems. And one is on a location, well, it's right next to St. Paul's, right in that edge of the,
At the end of Grant Street.
yes, right where that water all dumps into and that area stays really wet. And then they had 3 sump pumps running. They dumped it into the sanitary sewer, so the 2 houses down took flooding through the sanitary sewer backing up because one house was pumping so much water. So from our standpoint, we don't have a lot of flooding. We have some water problems in the basement, so you're going to find people on the north side of the hill, if their basement isn't done right and grading isn't just perfect, they'll get some water in their basement. But as a flooding, like the river coming up and flooding out a whole zone, no, we don't get that. Between the floodplain work that we've done and the stormwater detention basins that we have, we just don't experience the flooding that you see in the rest of the county.
Hooray. Anything else? Seeing nothing else, we'll go on to item 7. We've received the minutes of the Park Board for August 15th, 2018, and the Plan Commission for August 28th, 2018, and they will be placed on file. Moving to item 8, council business. Do we want to change the order of the agenda to accommodate the Crestview Meadows subdivision item? Anybody care to do that? Move it to the front?
I'll make a motion to
Okay, so we'll move
adjust the,
item H. Nope, yes. I'm paranoid now. Okay, item H up to the beginning of the agenda so that you can then leave after we're done. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, is there any other discussion about doing that? We'd have to vote, don't we? Yes, okay. Would you like to take the roll for that?
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay, so that means we're on Resolution 1844. Would you read that title for us, please, Miss?
City of Lake Mills, Resolution 18-44, reduction of financial guarantee, Crestview Meadows Subdivision.
Okay, I'm still getting to it. All right, motion is in front of you. Does someone want to make a motion for the motion?
I move adoption of Resolution 1843.
40.
No,
Oh,
44. Sorry.
that's okay. I thought it was me. So, okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Steve, do you want to fill us in on this before we? Oh,
Would you-
Dan, you're going to.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
So this is the second requested reduction regarding infrastructural improvements that have been accomplished in the Crestview Meadows subdivision. This specifically applies to asphalt paving, and patching that was done on the road in front of, the road to the south of the subdivision, I guess. Crestview Road, right? Crestview Drive? Drive. There is one issue that everyone should be aware of. The asphalt was put down at a time when rain was starting. So Wolf Paving, the subcontractor, has offered an extended warranty just to kind of placate the city and make sure that we're satisfied with the asphalt that was put down, making sure that nothing slips, nothing pulls up or anything like that, that it's sound. So they've offered a warranty through December 31st of 2019 as opposed to the typical one-year warranty. Staff is confident that that satisfies us. If there is an issue during the interim, Wolf Paving has made it very clear that they're willing to address any issues that come up. Other than that, based on all counts, I do not have a letter from Strand, but they were on site. They brought that issue to our attention. And based on all accounts, we're basically confident that with that extra warranty in place, that the city should be satisfied with the work that was completed.
Okay. This is a fairly normal procedure, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is there anything specific you wanted to speak to the council about, or are you happy with? Okay, so does anybody have questions that they want to ask? Other, we could suspend rules, but otherwise we could just vote. Should anybody have anything? Are we okay with this? Yeah, my head's going to come off. Okay, all right. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
There you go. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for coming and being here in case we had questions. And good luck with the rest of your development. Okay, good. All right, moving back to miscellaneous licenses. Would you read those names for us, please?
We have 4 tavern operators licenses: Maisie Marshall, Mary Hendricks, Julie Monroe, and Samantha Connell.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve those tavern operators licenses?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. No discussion on that? So would you call the roll?
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Item B, discussion decision on library hall tables donated to the Lake Mills Aztalan Historical Society. And would you please read that motion for us when you have?
City Council Motion 18-10-1-1, directing the city manager to make a donation on behalf of the City Council to the Lake Mills Aztalan Historical Society.
Okay, and we need a motion. Someone needs.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and these are, from what the thing was, original tables in the building?
Yes, they're very heavy.
Yeah, like really heavy
Massive.
tables, to the point where they're difficult to move when needed to be moved. And I think that was the major reason for the wanting to get newer tables. Anything else you want to add to that, Steve?
No, I think that pretty well summed it up. I read, I asked Gerard for a memo, I got this email, and I sum it up this way. The tables are probably historic.
Yes.
We don't need them.
Ta-da! That's
So
cool.
I assume that if the Historical Society wants them, it would be
Right.
in our best interest to give them to them.
And they are nice tables. It's just that with our use of the library these days, we need tables to be able to take down and put up and move around, and these did not lend themselves well to that. But we aren't getting rid of them, so we're doing a good job, right? Okay. Anybody else have a comment? Otherwise, we'll call the roll. Go ahead.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay, item C. Discussion decision on the 2019-21 contract for assessor services with Grota Appraisals LLC. Okay, we have a motion. Would you read the motion, please?
City Council Motion 18-10-1-2, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement between the City of Lake Mills and Grota Appraisals LLC.
Okay. And I need a motion and a second to discuss this. Please?
I move that we do the contract for the assessor services for 2019 to 2021.
Second.
Okay. Now we can discuss it further. You want clarification on it more than we had? What is your, what do you want to do with, other than vote? Are we fine?
Well, one question, you're satisfied with their,
Yes, they're a high-quality assessor. They provide us everything we need. They are flexible. They've looked at, full revals and market values, and they've performed on all the services that we have required of them. It's nice to be able to stay with the same contractor in this situation because they have a good history, and this type of work requires history.
How long have we been with them roughly?
I know it's over 20 years.
Oh my
I would
goodness,
guess
that long.
25,
Wow, I didn't realize it was that
maybe
long.
more, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 25. Right when I started was when they made the switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, if they don't know the city by now, they never will, right? So,
Well, you've moved down through a couple generations already. You had the father and the son, and now
the Holy
we're
Ghost.
down into.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're pretty close. So
Darn, I thought we had a blessed assessor. Oh, anyway, and are we ready for a vote? Yes.
oh,
Oh.
they're able to, they made a comment about dark store theory in the letter. And you think that handles it about as well as we can?
Grota has followed everything that the state administration has advised them to do in this situation. It has not benefited the courts. I don't know, exactly what the condition is. When we did the first one, we followed the state handbook on assessing those type right to the T, and then the court decided that wasn't the way to do it. And so then they changed it again to meet the new condition that the court was saying needed to be done, and then the court changed it again. So really, when you look at how that's defined, there are dark stores and there's the Walgreens exemption. The dark store was the original Walgreens exemption. and now there's the new Walgreen exemption. So most stores are moving into the dark store, and then, so when you read that and you see them mentioning both, that's why. And so my assumption is that if we continue to go down through this and do exactly what the courts do, we'd find a new process that they would try and sue us under again anyway. So they have been aggressively working with the state legislators to try and get this changed. We know the league has been on it. Most cities have made, and counties, villages have made some type of comment on it. I know that there's a majority of the legislators who would vote for it if it got to the floor.
Does that answer your question? Okay. All right, call the roll.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to add, Betsy? That's really your...
Yeah, I've been very happy in my dealings with Grota Appraisal. They, have been very active in our suits that we've had with Walgreens. They've been very much in participation with that. Every time I come with a question, he's very much quickly answering it very thoroughly, making sure that I understand the whole process and what's going on. Every year they're here for our open book and board of review. I think they represent us very well. When we sit in our meetings for board of review, it has to be a 2-hour meeting. We sit there and we discuss all of the issues having to do with real estate, personal property, businesses in the community. He keeps all of the board members very apprised of what's going on and the issues that are affecting the assessments and how this is affecting our community. So I've been very happy with how we've dealt with him.
Good. That's good to hear. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over you.
No, that's okay.
Okay. All right. Seeing that we voted on that, we're moving on to the next item, D, discussion decision on reevaluation agreement with Grota Appraisals LLC. Could you read the motion for that one, please?
City Council Motion 18-10-1-3, authorizing the city manager to execute a reevaluation agreement between the City of Lake Mills and Grota Appraisals LLC.
Okay. Anybody ready to make a motion on that one?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. And Betsy, do you have something to say on this one?
Yes, the city has been setting aside funds on an annual basis so that we could pay for a full revaluation. It's recommended that we do the revaluation every 8 years, and so the last time we did that was in 2011. So I started a conversation with Mike Grota about the upcoming revaluation, making sure we had funding, how we would go about it. And the conversation turned more to, it's not necessary to do a full revaluation as we've done in the past. There is a lot of technology, a lot of information that's available to the assessor that he doesn't have to go into every single home and look at everything the way they used to in order to keep our values close to the 100% that we need to be having according to the state. So his recommendation, instead of doing a full revaluation, which would have cost in the neighborhood of $140,000, to do a market update, which is about $40,000. He said that this should get us into the 100% or very close to it, and we could do this a little more frequently than the full revaluation, and it still would be a cost savings. So I thought we would go for the market update with your approval and see where our valuation ends up. I looked at what our ratio was in the last few years, and it is trending toward the lower end. We have to be between 90% and 110%. So in 2014 we were at 0.99. In 2015 we were at 0.99. 2016 it was 0.96. In 2017 it was 0.93, and it's estimated this next one will be 0.91. So we're trending lower. We need to make sure that all of the values are equally shared amongst all of our properties.
I hope it's .91,
Did I say 91? Yes, 0.91.
because the budget I have is .89. .91 makes it look better.
Okay. Now, have we talked about doing this before?
Yes.
Was that in a closed session, or?
No,
No, that wasn't.
we've talked about this off and on for a while because the debate is multifaceted in that you're required to do it once you've been below .9 for 3 years. Then the debate is how long do you go if you stay between the .9 and the .11 or the 1.1? You know, she said 8 years, so we're sneaking up on 8 years. We're also sneaking up on going below 9, so it's a good time to do a reval. And then there was some debate that we were having in relationship to the budget on a full revaluation or a market, because the budget numbers are substantially different. With a market one, she's got enough money set aside that it won't impact the budget at all. And a full market one, we'd have to budget some additional money, not a substantial amount, but some.
Right, right. Because of the set-aside that we've been doing in order to have those funds available to do it at this time period.
So we had kind of talked about it, and it had been in some of our conversations related to some budget stuff, so you
That's what
probably
I was
did hear
thinking.
it, but probably in a work session rather than a.
That's what yeah, this MAB kind of. Do you have any questions about it? Okay. And whenever a house sells, then it's brought up to snuff. And then, so the only properties that might be lower than they would be with an all-city assessment would be properties that have been in the same person's ownership for many, many years, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But the assessor is using records such as building permits, so
Mhm.
if they had some remodeling done, and again, like you said.
And that would trigger a reevaluation.
Well, it would give the assessor the information in order to look at the property and say, okay, this is what's been changed or updated, and have a better handle on what that value could be. You're also looking at neighboring properties. What someone in your neighborhood, if they had a recent sale, that could have some impact on your property as well. Anytime a property sells, there's usually on the internet a lot of pictures of the inside of the home. That's an opportunity for the assessor to say, okay, this is what our records say is in there, this is what the pictures say is in there. And then what the property owner feels is the value of that, what they think they could sell it for. Doesn't necessarily mean that's where they're going to set it, but that's information that he can use in order to achieve a reasonable value for a property.
So technology has had an effect in this field,
Yes, yes, and
to our benefit.
right, through that we could see a substantially less
Save a
expensive
little money.
method.
Any other questions by council? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Yes.
Motion.
Sorry, I was looking at the next item.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay. We have to get more distinguished names between Mrs. Fritsch and Mr. Fritsch, because I didn't know it was my turn. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's here. Moving on to Resolution 1841. Would you read that, please?
Resolution 18-41, signature authorization.
Short little critter. I'm still getting it up here, so. Oh, there it is. Okay. And we need a motion and a second to discuss it. Is there a motion?
I move that we adopt Resolution 1841.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Who wants to speak to this? Probably who?
I can-
Betsy will first.
Yes.
Okay, Betsy.
We have always had signature resolutions, and when I was looking at some records, I noticed that I couldn't find the one that would include the city clerk in it, and her recent change, not so recent. So this would be an opportunity to update that. My name was already on that resolution, however, my title had changed, so this is more of a let's catch up. She's already fulfilling that duty of a signature on our checks. We'd like to have 2. We need 3 people on that list in case there's 2 not available.
Right.
So this would just be to include the city clerk, Melissa Quest, and to change my title.
A little housekeeping here.
Right.
Thank you for catching it. Well, it's,
Yes.
a lot of times things like this kind of slip by because you don't think about that it needs to be changed because somebody's title changed.
Exactly.
So thanks for catching that.
Mhm.
Any questions did you have anything, Steve? Is that fine with you? Okay. All right,
No,
call the
this is
roll.
just housekeeping.
Yeah, call the roll, please.
Mr. Fritsch,
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Fields,
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch,
Aye.
Mr. Foster.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
All right, moving on. Okay, Resolution 1842. Would you read that, please?
Resolution 18-42, authorizing the city manager to direct the treasurer to reallocate funds, capital budget, parks for Lawnmower.
Okay. I need a motion and a second, and then Steve will explain what he, okay? Motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second, and Steve, you wanted to say a little bit?
We had budgeted a certain amount of money, I think it was $18,000 for new software and then some training and implementation work for the tree inventory. Through the course of the year, when Rob started talking about it, we referred him to Strand and to use the GIS, and it actually ended up costing him very little. He had to buy a iPad to be able to go out in the street and then have some training on how to do the GIS work, but it costs very little. So with the prices in the fall for lawnmowers dropping, he was on the budget to have a new one next year. So we pulled that one out and said, yeah, go ahead and buy it now. You have the money available, you just have to have the council move it over. So that actually kind of saves us money.
How much would a lawnmower in the spring run?
Oh, depending on how it goes, you're generally looking at a 6 to 10% discount, sometimes more.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's good that we were able to get something that at a good price. All right. Any other comments for Steve?
What kind of lawnmower
X-Mark.
is
I
this?
think in the memo he might have listed 3, but when I asked him, he said it was an X-Mark.
Yeah. That was the least expensive, the low bid. Okay. All right. Any other questions about this item before we vote? Seeing none, call the roll.
Ms. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Fields,
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch,
Aye.
Mr. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay. Resolution 1843, utilities budgets approval. You want to read that one, please?
Resolution 18-43, approval of 2019 utilities budgets for the city of Lake Mills.
Do I hear a motion to,
I prefer not to have any action taken on this one.
oh, is
tonight.
this one of the 3 reading ones?
Well, no, a resolution you don't have to.
Okay,
This is the first time that we've ever done this. And that's because the management and audit report in the auditor's letter noted that we should approve this, the utilities budget. We do our general fund budget by ordinance. It makes it not very flexible. The utilities need to be more flexible. They, if a customer comes in and needs something, they need to be able to spend the money. So we want you to have an idea of what we're looking at as far as expenditures in the department, but we didn't want to be tight with a ordinance, so we went with a resolution. Resolution doesn't require 3 readings, so we'll just have you postpone until the November 6th date,
when we do our final budget
when we do our
approval.
final budgets, but I wanted you to see this so that you knew that it was similar to the ordinances, and just how we were changing to meet the auditor's requirements.
So, should we make a motion to postpone this till the 3rd reading of the budget?
Yes, that would be appropriate.
Okay,
Before we do that, I see in here it says that we held a public hearing on the proposed utilities budgets. Is that going to be a separate public hearing from our budget public hearing?
I think we'll advertise them together and
Okay.
do one public hearing at the same meeting and present both of them.
Okay. Now I make a motion to table Resolution 1843 to November 6th.
Second.
any other comments before we vote on the motion to postpone? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Fritsch?
Aye.
Ms. Schmidt?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay, we will see this again in 2 more meetings. So that's-
I did want to make one comment. We postponed it. That was an article that was in the municipal this week. I don't know if any of you read it.
Yeah,
I tabled it, though.
Till a defined date. It's actually a motion to postpone based on my new understanding. Because you provided a defined date.
That's tabling to a date certain is what it always had been known as.
Yeah, this is, we discussed this at length today. The difference between a motion to postpone, a motion to set aside, and a motion to table. And I think you kind of just created a hybrid under that logic. Which is appropriate. I mean, you named an appropriate date, so I'm satisfied.
The difference is, I think the difference is that you have to have a motion to take it off the table.
With the table, yes.
Whereas with a postpone to a specific date or event, it just is on the agenda and you just treat it like an agenda item. It's a article that's been included in the municipality now that called for the good of the order. And you might want to keep an eye on them, because last month it was about motions, and was very interesting from my perspective. And when the mover controls it, when it's controlled by the mover and the seconder, when the parliamentarian announces that it's open to public participation, it's no longer under the control of the mover and the seconder, so they can't make friendly amendments or move to withdraw. That has to be an agreement of the whole group. So there were all these conditions. I was going, wow, it changes my whole perspective.
nothing's simple anymore.
No,
So do we need to go back and fix that?
no.
We're
no,
okay
good.
with the way we
Yeah,
did it?
It's satisfactory. It's the way we've been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah, I know,
It's the way
that doesn't
everyone
mean
does
it's the way we do it today. That's,
It's just like, try and get into a new habit of doing it the way that it's supposed to be done by Roberts, because we do follow Roberts, but
Well, Roberts
I'm not.
keeps changing his mind.
well, I can't
Yeah,
help
again.
Robert.
Okay, all right, so we're all right even though it's not a
Yeah.
postponement. And now we all know the difference and we may forget, but you'll be good to remind us in the future. Okay, moving on to item H, Resolution 1844, authorizing, oh, nope,
That one
we
we
did that.
moved.
I, ordinance, no, 1193A. Would you read that, please?
Ordinance 1193A,
Soon as-
this one is currently tabled. And
Okay,
We've
so,
had our third reading of it. This one is one that
oh,
we're
this is,
waiting.
we're waiting for something, and are we still
Correspondence
waiting?
From the state, yes.
We are
No, we haven't got it yet.
We are still waiting. I was away from the office today, but I did check with
Yeah,
staff
okay.
to see if anything came in, and I was informed that it had not.
Do we have, it just remains tabled, doesn't it, if we don't take it off the table?
Yep, just
Okay,
move to the next one.
so we don't have to do anything on that one?
Correct.
And it'll keep appearing and appearing and appearing until?
It should, with the time that's
Yeah.
allowed, we should see it at the next
Pretty soon.
council
Okay,
meeting.
And then at time, we'll just move to take it off and finalize it and move it on.
okay, ordinance 1194, would you read that, please?
Ordinance 11, and this was one that we had discussed on how to read the numbers. I'm going to do my best. Betsy may have to jump in and help.
Yes,
This is
just- yeah.
breaking down to do more totals and lines, correct?
We'll do team, you're going to tag team over there,
If needed, yes.
as long as you both agree, and if one of you doesn't agree, you're going to jump in and help the other one. And don't ask me what we're doing, because I don't have a clue. So you're the expert on that.
Ordinance 1194, it's the 2019 General Government Budget and Tax Levy Ordinance. Ordinance appropriating the necessary funds for the operations of the general government and debt service funds of the City of Lake Mills, Wisconsin for the year 2019. The City Council of City of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin does ordain as follows. There is hereby appropriated all the receipts of the City of Lake Mills for the year 2019, including monies received from the general property tax levy to the various purposes specified in the budget presented herewith for the purposes therein stated at the following amounts. Summary of adopted general government budget for 2019. For 2018 budget and 2018 estimate for both total revenues and total expenditures, $5,162,300. 2019 proposed total revenues and total expenditures is $5,286,400. Percent change for total revenues and total expenditures, 2.4%. 2019 debt service for 2018 budget and 2018 estimate, total expenses and total revenues, $1,481,200. 2019 proposed total expenses and total revenues, $1,576,315. Percent change for total expenses and total revenues, 6.42%. The amount required the grand total amount required for 2018 budget and 2018 estimate is $4,059,600. 2019 proposed amount required for grand total is $4,208,715. Percent change for the amount required for the grand total is 3.67%. There is hereby levied a tax of $2,632,400 for all purposes and $1,576,315 for debt service on all taxable property within the City of Lake Mills as returned by the assessor in the year 2018 for the uses and purposes set forth in said budget. The city treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to spread this tax on the current tax roll of the City of Lake Mills, and this ordinance shall take effect and be in force from and after its passage and publication. Good.
And this is the first reading,
Correct.
and it's likely to have some changes between now and the last reading?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, not at this time. Okay. Did anybody, okay. Did anybody have any questions on the ordinance as it currently is in front of us? Yep, okay. We will be having a budget meeting following the adjournment of this meeting. We'll be working on it, but it will not be televised. It's a work session, but for everybody's understanding, all the stuff that we're working with is on the city website. It's, you go to the city website, you go to the part where it's, you can go to tonight's agenda, I think, and pick it up.
You go to the website, and then on the right-hand corner side, there's a list that says, the top one is City Council. You click on that, and it'll take you to the agendas.
Okay, and on the agenda is the budget.
All the attachments.
All the attachments are
All the
included with the
attachment.
agenda.
And if you have questions, or you, for some reason, can't access that, you can call City Hall, and our staff will help you get what you need as far as, or questions answered. So don't hesitate to ask. We have a great staff. They're very congenial and very knowledgeable, and they will be more than happy to help you. So it's all there for you to look at. Any other comments before we move on here? Okay. That's the general budget. Now we go to ordinance 1195, right?
Correct.
Okay,
And
good.
I'll read that similar to the same
Yep.
way.
Sounds good.
Ordinance 1195, 2019 capital budget, an ordinance appropriating the necessary funds for the operation of the capital budget of the City of Lake Mills, Wisconsin for the year 2019. City Council of the City of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, does ordain as follows. There is hereby appropriated the receipts of the City of Lake Mills for the year 2019, including monies received from the general property tax levy to the various purposes specified in the capital budget presented herewith for the purposes therein stated the following amounts. 2019 capital budget, 2018 budget, total revenues and total expenditures, $8,352,200. 2018 estimate for total revenues and total expenditures, $2,267,600. 2019 proposed total revenues and total expenditures, $3,251,200. There is hereby levied a tax of $9,700 for capital purposes on all taxable property within the City of Lake Mills as returned by the assessor in the year 2018 for the uses and purposes set forth in said budget. The city treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to spread this tax on the current tax roll of the City of Lake Mills, and this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage and publication.
Okay. Same as before, this is the first reading. We're not anticipating any changes, but if something does come up, it'll be brought to us by the second and third reading. Anybody have any comments they want to make before we move on? Okay. Okay, then I think we will move to recommendations for future agendas. Anybody has something they know they want on the agenda and you want to bring it up at this time or not? Not necessary to do it right now. Seeing none, then we will adjourn the meeting.